Welcome to the Power 9. Today we'll be going over a Narset Enlightened Master commander deck based around taking extra turns and extra combats. It's a very competitive deck that focuses on her ability to cast things for free and get things off the top whenever you exile the top 4 cards with her attack trigger. She's a 6-cost commander, and we'll get into the deck list now. One of the best ways to utilize her ability is with take an extra turn cards. As you can see, they cost a lot to cast, as this one on top costs 10 mana, but with her attack trigger where you're going to be casting 4 things for free, it doesn't really matter what it costs as long as it's on top and you can cast it with her ability. So this deck utilizes a lot of take an extra turn cards, as you can see here, with things like Time Warp, Rise of the Eldrazi, a newer one from Commander Masters, Temporal Manipulation, Walk the Aeons, Beacon of Tomorrows, which will get shuffled back in whenever you cast it, so you can cast it again, Capture of Jinzhou, another reprint from Commander Masters, and an important one, Nexus of Fate. Nexus of Fate combos with another card from the deck called Enter the Infinite, which allows you to take infinite extra turns whenever you cast Enter the Infinite and put Nexus of Fate right back on top. With its ability to go back into the graveyard after you cast it and shuffle it back in, if it's the only card in there, you'll be able to take infinite extra turns when you draw it on the extra turn. You've also got other cards like Expropriate, Teferi Master of Time, Temporal Trespass, Alrund's Epiphany, and Temporal Mastery. Due to Narset's attack trigger, you're going to want to be able to utilize that as many ways as you can. When you attack with her, there's a chance that you might not be able to hit something that you'll be able to cast off of her, like an extra turn card or some other impactful spell, so you're going to want to have stuff in there that allows you to do it as many times as you can in one turn. So we filled the deck with a couple taking extra combat steps as well, that allows you to use her ability as many times per turn as you can find. If you hit one of these, it'll allow you to take an extra combat and get her triggered ability another time. So we have things in there like Seize the Day, Relentless Assault, Aggravated Assault, and Fury of the Horde. Aggravated Assault's important because as long as you have the mana to activate it, you'll be able to do it as many times as you want per turn, and be able to take as many extra combats. So as you might have noticed, Narset is a 6-cost commander. She costs 3 generic and 1 blue, 1 white, and 1 red. Because of that, she's pretty hard to cast early, but that's why we filled the deck with a lot of utility mana rocks, especially things with 0 mana cost. 0 mana cost means you can play it without having to even tap any mana, which allows you to use the lands that you played on that turn for anything else that you might have had in your hand. So, we have a couple 0 mana rocks in here like Jeweled Lotus, Lotus Petal, and Chrome Mox. Jeweled Lotus is important because it's basically a dulled down version of Black Lotus, one of the Power 9s. Black Lotus was a busted card from the first Magic set and read 0 mana artifact that you could sacrifice for 3 mana of any one color. That's pretty much the same as what we're going on here, but it can only be used on your commander. Even still, it's very busted, especially when your commander costs 6 mana and this gives you half of that already. Lotus Petal and Chrome Mox are also very good because they only add 1, but that's still better than having to pay 1 mana for it, even though they cost 0. Lotus Petal is a one-time use artifact, but even still you're going to use it on your commander and get that out of the way. Chrome Mox is even better because you can use it turn after turn and not have to sacrifice it. Other artifacts that we have in here that add mana are stuff like Mana Vault and Soul Ring that are 1-cost mana rocks that add more than what you're paying for. Mana Vault adds 3 mana for 1, and Soul Ring adds 2 for 1. There's also the Talismans that add colored mana, like Talisman of Conviction and Creativity from the Doctor Who set, and then Arcane Signet and Thought Vessel. Also, there's more utility instants and sorceries that instead of hitting something like an extra turn spell, you'll be able to hit one of these that allows you to do something impactful depending on how you set up your turn. Things like Mind's Desire lets you cast things for free like your commander does, but adds another copy of it for every thing you casted before it. There's also Omniscience, which allows you to cast things for free, and Mnemonic Deluge, that you can cast things from your graveyard without paying their mana cost, and bring up your storm count because it does cast as a copy. There's also Enter the Infinite, which as we talked about earlier, which allows you to partner with Nexus of Fate and cast infinite extra turns as long as you put that card back on top when you draw your whole deck with Enter the Infinite. Lastly, there's Approach of the Second Sun, which is a very important card from a couple sets ago, which allows you to cast it twice, and then if you cast it the second time, you win the game. The first time it goes 7th from the top, and then the last time you cast it for free.